was on the afternoon of September 5th that my fate became connected with an assortment of compact cassettes. Our story began when my friend called me to inspect some land he was looking to purchase. It was a little bit south of Phoenix and a hell of a lot north of Tucson. He told me with the directional integrity of a compass made out of magnets. I got to the property around 2 or 3 p.m. that day. It was later than I had liked to arrive, but I burned both attempts at breakfast. Desperately hungry, I went to the neighborhood diner for a meal, and their service is self-admittedly glacial in pace. When I dismounted from my truck and planted my feet onto the soil, the strangest chill sunk down my spine. It was like the sensation of the first beat of Arizona summer sweat cascading down my back, picking up each individual grain of dirt along the way. But in this case, the sweat was a jolt through my nervous system, and the dust were neurons whose pathways had long lain dormant, either due to my age or due to my abuse of various drugs and narcotics. The sensation left me feeling young, but with my wisdom intact, so I kissed my lucky tape measure, rolled up my pants and proceeded with caution. As I walked around my friend's potential purchase, I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. Nothing had seemed to be built on the property, and no wildlife appeared to be living on it either. Hell, there weren't even any saguaro cactuses, which, don't get me wrong, can be nice to have, but you'll have to get permit after permit if you ever want to get rid of them. God forbid they fall. The sun started to set on me. I didn't want to drive on the 10 after dark, so I was about ready to call it a day. That was until I came across a surprise water feature. Underground water feature. Yep, it was a well. But this well was weird. First, my eyes began to itch just from looking at it. Second, the sounds coming from it weren't those of a well, but instead it was the sounds of a recording of a well. Each wet echo coming from the well's depths were coated in this fog-like static, as if something was in the way of the sound waves themselves. My curiosity overcame me and I approached the well. As I approached, my vision worsened, but I could make out a rope leading down into the abyss. The youthful feeling washed over me once more as I pulled the rope towards my person. With one hand, grabbed the next length of rope with the other. In time, my efforts were rewarded, and at the end of the rope was a bucket. And in that bucket, oddly labeled compact cassettes. However, with reward came a cost, and the sound the bucket made while rattling its way up had only added to the static-laced echoes, now pulsating out of the well. That didn't matter to me, I felt alive. I tossed the bucket back down again and put my foot up against the stone basin for support before proceeding to pull it back up. Like magic, there were more cassette tapes. I was able to do this one more time before the intervals between the pulses grew to be non-existent. And after its last cramped pulse erupted, a solid unending tone. Yeah, this is when things get a little fuzzy for me. You see, that tone was so strong it knocked me off my feet and sent me back several meters, before finally letting me smack down on the dirt and the rocks. I then looked up and watched the well fall in on itself before vanishing completely. But as I lay there not knowing if any of this had happened or if I was dehydrated and about to succumb to heat stroke, I noticed all around me were the cassette tapes I had pulled out of the well. When I got home, I started listening to these tapes. I was confused. It felt like a collection of audio tapes from throughout history. But whatever the history was, it was alien to me. As I continued to listen, it dawned on me these audio tapes weren't from our world, but from another world entirely. I made it my mission to cut these tapes together and to tell the story that lives within them. What you're about to